Welcome back to another episode of these crazy people that just eat meat and don't stop talking about it. Today's episode, um, Justin returns from the deep Midwest, southern sort of air territory, and we decided my over a month long vacation for making videos for the first time since I started years ago should end. So here we are. Justin's back. He's been MIA for a bit, had quite a few life changes. And so here we are, finally kicking out a video.
I just want to make it clear because the rumors, because due to Zoom, you can only see me from like the neck up. So they're like, "Oh man, did he lose his arms? Is that something that happened?" I did, but the carnivore diet is so miraculous. They just grew black back. So
Wow.
there you go, arms.
Are they
Clearly,
same length?
again, I think I got a little bit of extra inch on the left.
Hmm,
You know.
that never
Mm.
hurts.
But
So
yeah, it's good to be back. um I'll just throw it out there. I had a kid. Yeah, that's why I've been gone. Yes, me and the missus had a kid. He's a real cute little guy. um and so that takes a lot of my time, and I've been working at a mental hospital doing intakes, which
yeah, and he
also
did say
takes.
working, and he doesn't mean working on himself. Not that we discourage that, but you know.
Working at myself at the mental institution, sort of. Yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So all right. So you had a kid. For those who don't know, you had changed jobs and moved and got a new place in a very short period of time. In fact, that happened not too long after you were here a year ago.
Yeah, it really did. Like within four, yeah, about 4 months of me being back in California. Yeah,
Look at that. My arm got cut off. Carnivore grows it back. Shoulder, arm disappears from the shoulder down, but carnivore keeps growing it back. So, all right. So let's talk about YouTube a little bit. I think everybody knows back around the beginning of the C-19 lockdown, like they changed the way they promote videos. You know, a lot of people call it shadow banning and stuff like that. And I don't want to get into all the labels they put on it, but about that time, a lot of anything that's not mainstream really wasn't being promoted the same way as it was before. You know, they used to just suggest videos that were similar to the videos you were already watching. And that changed. They did that to a lesser extent. A lot of people noticed they don't even see alerts for new videos when they'd been seeing them in the past. And so all that started, and then they're doing that to a greater extent now. So I know Sean Baker mentioned it. It really has to do with their advertising slash income model. They just feel that, you know, by promoting more mainstream stuff and less of the less mainstream stuff, that's just better, a better business model. So, and it's not just carnivore; it's a lot of topics. So it is what it is, and you know, some of the people that you see that do videos similar to mine, they do them full time. They put a lot more time and effort into promoting them. So um, the only way I'm going to grow at this time with the limited, I actually have less free time now than I did before. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos. Hopefully, I'll have Jules back soon. She wants to do videos. Janice has been tied up. Justin's been tied up, and my time has been obligated elsewhere for the most part. So, anyways, hopefully we'll get more videos out. But the only way it's going to grow is by people, passing the links on, commenting on the videos, liking the videos and stuff, suggesting them to other people because YouTube is going to do little or nothing for that for channels like mine and not just mine. So anybody that who makes content that you like, try and help them out by recommending them to other people, sending other people the links. But of course, any interaction is good. So if you want to leave comments about how much you hate Justin, that's fine. Just post away.
You know what we gotta do? We gotta put ourselves on VHS. I've heard VHS is coming back.
Yeah.
You got to throw these on VHS, stand on the street corners and stuff, and just random parking lots. Just leave a VHS of our work.
Yeah, the Betamax versions I've been selling are doing pretty good. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking about expanding into VHS because apparently there's still more VHS machines out there than there are Betamax, which surprises me, but people would rather do that than get it free on YouTube. It is what it is. I don't make the market, I just serve it.
There you go. Yeah. What was that? The big before, like, way before DVDs, it was like a giant CD. I'd only ever seen it once in a classroom.
A laser
That's the
disc.
only time I've ever laser disc. Yeah, there we
Hmm.
go. We could throw ourselves on laser disc.
I know one person that collects laser discs, my friend's dad, and so it's less compressed than a DVD. So, and then they put out special edition ones with extra footage and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool if you want a hobby and you're a movie nut. You can still, I think they still make them. I haven't asked, I haven't looked, I haven't shopped, but you know, yeah, they look like a giant CD. They're the size of an old school vinyl record, like a full album. Like, is that an EP extended play or what is that? I forget. 33s, 45s. I think it would be like a 33, right? You don't know. Did you ever
I
have
guess
vinyl?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Did
No, I
you?
never. I mean, I have some vinyls, but I've never actually like played like I've never owned a record player to actually play my vinyls. I just have some vinyls. I
Wow.
got some Johnny Cash.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting, like the difference in generational. I mean, Justin's like he's what are you 15 years younger than me or something like that. You're
Something like that. Yeah,
35, 34?
35.
You're at 35 and I'm 52, so everybody out there can do the math. Um so anyways, yeah, it's interesting the difference between then and now. I mean, I still have one car that's a manual transmission. So of course I have another truck that's from the 70s. So I have an electric car on top of that. So the electric car doesn't even have a transmission. And so every day I have to decide, do I want to drive the car that I have to boot up or do I drive the car that I have to warm up? Do I drive the car
That's a good
that
one.
I actually have to go to the gas station and fill up? Or do I just want the convenience of just plugging in wherever I go, which is what I do. I set up a charging station at home, set one up at work. There you go. Because we pay, I don't know, gas. I think the gassed up yesterday. I think I paid $6.69 a gallon.
Ouch. My
Yeah.
wife paid 304.
Oh,
Dang.
less than half. Oh my God. That's painful. So,
Oh,
anyways, never actually had a record player.
no, I've never actually had a record
Mind
player.
boggling. Have you ever had a cassette player?
I did have a cassette player,
All right. Have you ever seen an 8-track tape?
and I only had one cassette, and I'm really embarrassed of what it was.
What was it? Boy George or something?
No, it was so there's a movie called Space Jam, which is like Tiny Toons meets Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had that soundtrack. I don't know. I think I just because I liked the movie and like I something about someone gave me a cassette player, so I bought the. It's probably worth like $1,000 or something now. I don't even know
because
where it is,
nobody
what
else bought
happened
it.
to
The rest went into a landfill.
it. Something like that. I can't even tell you know, I'm sure somewhere there has it logged what songs are in it, but I don't remember at all. I just remember that was the only cassette. I don't even know how many times I listened to it, maybe like once,
Mm,
because I think it was just like nine or something, and it was like, oh, Space Jam. I like that movie. I like, uh, you know, I wasn't like a huge Michael Jordan fan. I was just like a huge Bugs Bunny fan.
hmm
So
hmm
Bugs Bunny was in it, and
Well,
so
that. Go ahead.
they made Space Jam 2 like a year ago. I have
Really?
yet to watch it because, yeah.
Well, that's another difference. Like, you said animated characters, right? And you're a fan of Bugs Bunny.
Mm.
Now, if you saw a whole show that was just Bugs Bunny, what would you call that type of show?
Well, it's Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but I mean, in a more general sense. What I'm getting at is I
A
would call it
cartoon.
a cartoon, right? So I was
Uh-huh.
explaining something to one of the younger guys at work. He's like 25. And I said, oh, yeah, you can't see this because it's on a frozen layer. And he goes, frozen? Like the animated feature film? And I'm like, you mean the cartoon? And he's like, no, it's animated. It's not a cartoon. And I'm like, what's the difference? It's it's a bunch of goofy characters somebody drew, right? So, anyways, another generational difference. But one thing we can agree on, eating meat is best, right?
I don't. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole of 3D versus 2D animation.
Hmm.
It's fun.
All right. So since we're talking about getting caught up, um, a lot of people talk about, being a carnivore as being socially stressful. Like they go, when they're out eating with other people or whatever, you know. So, anyways, I
Mm.
noticed this today is Sunday. So, anyways, recently one of my friends passed away, and it was somebody that I went to college with, and um they're having services, and so I had a bunch of friends come into town or from varied distances, and I had several of them at my house. We were going to go to the services the next day together, so it's like, hey, you guys want to go out to eat? And I offered to take them to that Japanese place where we get those giant sashimi
Mm.
platters. But I
Nice.
told I told him I'll cook. I'll cook because I'm used to cooking because I prep my meals and everything. So I'm used to like banging out a big spread, getting ready for the week. So, I did my typical. I did shrimp and steak and hamburgers, and these guys
Mm.
were coming, so I got hot dogs too. So I cooked all that up, and they did want to go to the store and get some sides. So they got like mashed potatoes and peas, right? We cooked that up too. And but anyways, they all
Wait, you mean they got potatoes and peas and you made mashed potatoes?
yeah. No, they got, they had mashed potatoes and peas as well, right? But they were digging they never give me a hard time about just eating meat. They all know because I've been doing it long enough now that it's come up, you know. So um and of course I have a YouTube channel. It's not like it's a secret. So. So, anyways, but I'm kind of surprised when people complain about how socially awkward it is, right? Because they're fine with it. And they come over and eat. I cater to the fact that they don't eat just meat, but they were happy to eat a bunch of meat. They literally several of them had, steak, shrimp, lobster, or not lobster, but hamburgers and hot dogs all in one meal, and they were having a good time. So, it's like talking to your doctor. Everybody thinks it's going to be terrible, and doctors can argue with them, and it's not always the case. So,
I think when it comes to the social thing, it has to be in perspective. Like I think dating can certainly be difficult while carnivore. Um, just because of how to explain, and I think whenever we date someone, we're gauging for sanity, right? And it's like, okay, can this person be trusted? Are they of good fit? Are they going to be healthy and around for a long-term relationship if they're eating this much meat? You know, if they don't know, right? So I think in a dating, it can be really awkward. I think
mhm,
friends probably care less. Um,
mhm,
and like even me, my wife isn't carnivore. She's not even really keto or anything. She's relatively meat heavy. Um, but when we go out to eat, she gets, stuff with bread, and then she eats my vegetables that I don't eat, or my
mhm.
sides,
Yeah.
So she just kind of gets extra food, that I won't eat.
Mhm.
But like, today we went to a local diner, and I got a steak omelet. You know, that's pretty easy for a place to cook up. You know, I just said like no sides, or asked my wife what she wanted for sides, and forgot what it came with, but I just gave that to her. And I think
Right.
that omelet came with like mushrooms and like red peppers, I guess
Mm.
fried or whatever. And yeah, it was probably fried in seed oils. Okay, yes. Um, but I mean, okay, my stomach might hurt tonight or something. I have a little bit of heartburn, some gas tomorrow, but it's not like I'm gonna have like a stroke, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, this morning we were there. We were at a hotel near where the um, wake was, and the guys are like, "Hey, you want to go downstairs? They have breakfast downstairs." And I went down and scoped it out, and my buddy Greg, we were actually roommates in college and haven't really spent any time together in like 30 years. And he immediately was like, "Do they have anything for you to eat down there?" And I was like, "Yeah." They had scrambled eggs and sausage. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no problem, right? It's a nice meal,
Uh,
you know. So anyways,
And
yeah.
another thing too is that we're not like food obsessed. I mean, we like to eat, and we have to eat, but
Hmm.
it's like 10 a.m. Do you have to eat at 10 a.m.? Not really, right? Like you can push it to 1 or 2, or like while we're out doing something else, I can go drive through a Wendy's or something, right? So
Hmm.
it's like even if a meal is missed, it's like, oh, okay, like it's not an issue.
Hmm. Yeah, and I was hungry late last night. They were playing poker, and I was just kind of hanging out while they played poker, and I was getting hungry, and I was like, eh. So I walked to a gas station and bought jerky. I think I got jerky, hard boiled egg, and some cheese or something. And I got them a bag of chips. I mean, I got a big bag of jerky. So I was sharing it with them too, but I think it was like $35 for that at the gas station, and arguably not great quality either. But and I think we all got heartburn from that jerky because it was flavored. It's like,
Yeah.
but you could get by in a pinch, you know, even at 11
So
o'clock.
like barbecue restaurants, burger joints. Sorry, we're the internet. It's on my side. Just want to make it clear.
No, it's coming
Um,
through pretty good.
uh, Barbecue joints, Korean barbecue. I mean, even if you're sensitive to sauces, you could just get the brisket, throw a little bit of salt on it, and you're good to go. The brisket typically at Korean barbecue doesn't have anything on it.
Good to
So I
know.
mean, even
Hot
if you're
tip,
that
folks.
sensitive.
I mean, you could always ask them if they have any meat with no sauce, because a lot of times they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we don't have to give you the stuff with the sauce, whatever. What do you want?" So a lot of times they'll do that. They don't care. So, um,
It's just about advocating for yourself in the social situation, and with the wait staff, and
Mhm.
typically wait staff, especially in this economy, they want your tip. So they want your business, they want the tip
True enough.
because they're struggling just like everyone else.
Yeah, most restaurants have like sort of mentalities. They'll do just about anything within reason to make the customer happy. So they got the food there just because you don't want seasoning on it or something. They're usually willing to accommodate. So it's worth asking. You're not going to be disappointed that often.
And if you really want to be that person, you can say you have a lot of food allergies. They really can't. They pretty much legally have to accommodate you
Yeah.
more or less with what they have in the kitchen.
Yeah, not and asking them not to season something or not to soak it in marinade or something is usually not a problem because it's not like you're asking for some sort of crazy preparation. So it's very simple, so they don't tend not
You're
to mind.
just be like, hey, I'm paying you the same price, and you actually have to do less work.
There you go. Yeah, the one thing that surprised me about Korean barbecue is how popular a bowl of corn kernels with cheese on top is. And of course, all my Korean friends are like, "Yeah, there's nothing Korean about that. Nothing." And I don't know why it's so popular. I'm like, it's literally looks like canned corn with like mozzarella or something melted on top. And it's like, why would you go to a restaurant and pay like $14 for that? Makes no sense.
Or like Mexican street corn is like a big like $10 item on like most like a $10 side or something.
Mm,
It's like corn with ketchup and mayonnaise and butter.
yeah. So, anyways, what else were we going to talk about? What have you been eating regularly there? You're still cooking at home most of the time, I guess.
Yeah. So New York strips are still a big contender, especially I take that to work. Um, for breakfast slash lunch or whatever. So just for context, so at the hospital, my schedule was 3 p.m. to 11. So I'd often get up and then cook, like have my lunch. I'd have, quote unquote dinner at work. Um, excuse me. Um, I've been making some chili, Tom's chili in like the Instapot, slow cooking it with some garlic powder, onion powder, red mint seasoning, tomato sauce, um, keeping it kind of like that, some rosemary, a couple other spices in it. Um, but then I'll throw it in the skillet after it being in the fridge. And I've been throwing in just, I don't know. So I got rid of eggs because I feel like I really am reacting to eggs, and my headaches
Mm,
weren't doing so well because of
mm,
eggs. So I've cut out eggs, I want to say 2 months now, 2 to 3 months. I haven't really had eggs.
hmm.
Um, and I think that has improved my headaches. I
Really
think I might have some kind of aid reaction,
interesting.
at, at least to chicken eggs.
Mm,
So ground beef, I mean, don't get me wrong, nutritionally, it's right there for you. But I've never been one of those people that could just chow down on some plain ground beef. Like
mm,
it just doesn't do it. It's hard for me to just chow down on it. It's got to have at least some cheese, like kind of bare minimum, and some butter. Um, but I've been adding like ham and turkey to some ground beef, the chili,
mm,
when I refry it,
hmm.
and it's been good. Like I don't know, adding that little extra meats to it has been good, and I've really been kind of enjoying that for my breakfast, and some cheese, shredded cheddar cheese on it, and I'm
Hmm.
good to go. I'm as happy as could be. Basically, I don't even miss the egg really. I've had a craving, and so I got some eggs at the restaurant today, but I don't even really miss the egg at all. Um, so that's been really good. And something we could touch on is um I inadvertently jumped down the omega-3, omega-6 rabbit hole. And I was just trying to see if there's like a blood test that you can actually like test for your blood levels of omega-3 to omega-6. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people don't know that it's like a percentage of a percentage of what's in your hemoglobin. And when certain people in the community go on and on about omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, they never have any tests or anything to talk about it. And it's actually kind of hard to track down a
Hmm.
test for it. And reading more about it, I'm like, it kind of seems like the only way to get out of balance is to eat plants. You would have to eat a lot of pork or a lot of like chicken to throw off your omega-3 to omega-6. Not
Hmm.
saying other people may have uh, some kind of sensitivity,
Hmm.
but I think there's a habit of, well, the reason why you're feeling bad is because your omega-6, omega-3 is off because you've been eating store-bought chicken, you know. And it's like, okay, well, maybe there's something in the feed they're reacting to, but it takes 4 months to make a change in your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, one
Interesting.
way or the other.
Hmm. Good to know. That sounds like a nice rabbit hole to go down.
So I'm really not scared about, I did find a company that'll do the test for $100. It's just a finger prick, and then you get the test back in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just genuinely curious, but I am not afraid of grocery meats, ham, chicken, turkey, sliced turkey, or whatever. Um, I'm not gonna gorge on it because who does? It's just even if you ate like a whole turkey, it's not satisfying.
Hmm.
Like even if I have salmon, I'm like, you know what that salmon could use? Some beef. You know?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so I decided to stop making chili after, I mean, my primary motivation for cooking the chili was that it was just an easy way to prep. So my crock pot holds like about 6 pounds of meat, more or less, and I experimented with all different sort of seasonings and stuff like that to see what was sort of optimal. And then I started noticing eating the seasonings stopped being appealing for a number of reasons. So, and more, not advising people to do this because, there's risk to it. I've been eating just raw ground beef quite a bit. And part of that is when I get up in the morning, I feed the dog. My dog loves, she usually gets ground beef with something in it, like liver or something. And I'm like, why am I gonna cook anything when I'd rather eat just plain ground beef raw. And I like it better raw than I do cooked. But that's just me. So, and I've been eating pretty lean, like it's like uh 93/7. So instead of 80/20. But um, I'm also still eating steak, typically like New York strips and the shrimp, you know. I buy the boiled, peeled medium shrimp. It's boiled in salt water. You thaw them out, wash the ice off of them, and pack them up in containers. Taking work. It doesn't get any easier when you're prepping your meals and taking it with you, or having it ready when you get up in the morning to eat breakfast or whatever. So when I have time, I do like to scramble eggs or whatever. I like that too, but I don't always have time. So anyways, yeah, I've been more and more. I'm just like, I don't see any reason not to eat the ground beef, other than the health risk, which is just one of those things. It could be contaminated one day and make me sick, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, we don't bat an eye at eating sashimi or something, you know. So, and I, you know,
Prepared
people,
by someone else.
yeah, you don't know who handled it, caught it. Was it frozen as soon as it was caught? I mean, commercial stuff is supposed to be, but you never know, you know. So, I mean, some of those giant bluefin tuna that people catch, the humongous ones that are worth just a shit ton of money, those don't fit in the hold. You can't freeze that bastard. So I was like, you know, I don't know. I mean, on a really big boat, you can, but you look at the boats that they're on sometimes, like you see these videos. One the other day, this lady caught this whopper. I mean, it's easily the biggest bluefin I've ever seen. I'm not a fisherman, but thing is huge. It's got, yeah, I don't know, could have been worth $1 million for all I know. That's why I'm looking at that boat going, I don't think that's gonna fit in the hold. Pretty sure it's not. So, and I'm no expert. I could be wrong, but you know, all kinds of things, you know, and most of the time, the food that people get poisoned on at restaurants and stuff like that, and even at home, you know, they were in warmers for a long period of time or whatever, you know, they cross contaminated with chicken dripping or whatever, you know. So anyways, and for me, the fresh ground beef, it digests very easily. Obviously, it's very convenient. You know, it's hard to beat, and my dog loves it. So I don't know. I'm not seasoning my steaks anymore. I don't put.
Mm.
When my friends came over and I cooked for them, I season them. You know, just traditional seasoning. But when I cook for myself, I don't even bother, and I don't miss it. You know, there was a time when not that long ago, I would have missed it, but I don't even put salt on my steaks. I just cook them in their own fat, you know, in a mostly in a cast iron skillet. I don't even use the grill anymore. I mean, Jessica tell you, we got two big grills in my backyard and two smokers, and I hardly use them, and it's mostly because it just saves me time. It's not that it takes a long time to grill something, but I usually have other stuff I need to be preparing in the kitchen and going back and forth and keeping an eye on stuff so it doesn't burn or whatever. It's not practical when you're busy. So I wind up just cooking stuff in a pan. So
Yeah, especially here. I mean, it's gotten cold now. Like it got cold quick.
oh
And
yeah.
it's like, you know what, skillet is fine with some butter. I'm completely fine with that. You know, just cut it up, grill it, you know. Yeah, no shame in cooking on the kitchen. You know, you don't have to have an Auto Wild or a Traeger to be carnivore, okay? Just
More commercial grade salamander. Yeah.
uh,
I don't even have an Instapot. I don't have an air fryer. I have sort of an air fryer oven. It's like a mini convection oven that pretty much works like an air fryer. It doesn't have the convenience of like the enclosed, the kind of capsule style where you can put, you know, a lot of people are telling me, man, you put those what's that paper called? The grease proof paper.
oh yeah, the butcher's paper or whatever.
Yeah. I forgot the name of it. But anyways, they make liners like giant cupcake liners for them, and you put your food in there so it's super easy to clean up. Makes total sense to me. Just haven't gone around to it. So I mean part of that is like, you know, Justin could tell you it's like I wound up with so much stuff and I've been on a mission to get rid of it. And I'm like, I'm not buying anything else till I get rid of a bunch of other stuff, you know. And I cook on cast iron pans. One of them is relatively new. My sister gave it to me. It's a big 12-inch pan. And the rest of them are all family hand-me-downs. I know one of them, I looked it up. I think it's a Wagner or something like that. And it was probably made somewhere between the 30s and the late 50s. And people in my family have been cooking on that thing this whole time. And it's just as good as day one. And when you learn how to clean them, they're actually easy to clean. They're actually easier to clean than a lot of other pots and pans because they're all kinds of stainless steel and stuff like that. And I'm not opposed to cooking in it, but the cast iron, I like, you know, it's thicker, holds the heat more evenly, you know, and all that. And once you get used to it, you know, it's a piece of cake. So, yeah. how is it? I mean, you don't really have any tension with your new wife as far as cooking goes. I mean, she's down for eating plenty of meat, and she eats some stuff you don't eat, and that works out fine, right?
Yeah, and her mom is here, so her mom's been cooking. And so I mean, I think I've talked about it before, but my wife's family is Mongolian and very proud of the Mongolian heritage. And she grew up only eating meat, like and like raw goat milk, pretty much is what she grew up eating
Well,
until her family moved to Beijing and then her eventually over here to the United States, you know. But
so they don't even get mad when when you say your friend Tom keeps saying that Genghis Khan was actually a Caucasian. They don't get upset about that.
I don't know if we've had that conversation.
You coward.
uh, um, but so like the other day, her mom made lamb liver.
Oh
My
yeah.
mom, my mom, my wife has gone
Whoop,
like we
whoop.
found a like a
Freudian slip
local,
there.
yeah, a local like butcher that sells like uh lamb kidney and lamb liver.
Mhm.
And my wife has gone goo goo over lamb kidney and lamb liver.
So
I
how
think that's
much of it
all.
have you eaten?
I had a slice of some lamb liver that
Uh-huh.
my mother-in-law prepared. It was really good. She used vinegar and I forget what else she did to it. Not like soy sauce, nothing like that in it, but I think it was like vinegar and salt, maybe like green onion, something like
Kind of
that.
tamed it down.
Yeah, but that was really good actually. Yeah, it was a
Excellent.
bit dry because I had it like the day after and she had like
Mhm.
kept it in the fridge. Um, and yeah, it was really good though. Yeah, the lamb liver. I think the lamb liver was like the flavor's not as intense
Oh
as
yeah.
cow liver. Yeah. So yeah, she's all about eating some organ, eating lamb especially, but beef she loves. She doesn't like pork, you know.
Really
Yeah, she just doesn't. She says it upsets her stomach. I don't know.
interesting.
So yeah, but beef and lamb, she's big on. Lamb's her favorite, I think.
Hmm.
Her and her family. I think it's a Mongolian thing,
Hmm.
The lamb. Definitely love the lamb. That's for sure. And she likes the local lamb here better than the New Zealand lamb that they have at like Costco or Sam's Club. And I have to agree, the lamb, if you can get, well, at least the grasses around here, it's going to be a little different everywhere, right?
Hmm.
Um,
That's my theory. It's the grass.
right, right, right. It's the
Yeah.
grass. Um, and the flavor is very light here compared to that. I don't know how to like thicker flavor of
Mhm.
that lamb at Sam's Club or Costco. So yeah, the lamb meat, the local lamb meat is really good. Like it is really,
Yeah. So
really
I
good.
was buying sheep or lamb or whatever, goat and stuff like that from a halal um butcher shop, and their stuff came from Australia as well. And
Mm,
I thought it tasted different and stronger. And I think it's just what you're used to. Because sometimes I eat this Australian beef and I notice it.
mm.
If I eat Canadian beef, and I can only imagine the prairie grass up there is a little different because of the climate, or if I eat Mexican beef, I don't notice it. And I would assume there's a pretty good difference between Mexico and Canada, but maybe not. Maybe the strains of grass they eat is so similar that the flavor is similar. But I'm convinced that particularly ruminants, the flavor of the meat really is tied strongly to the grass they're eating.
Well, and I had grass. I had beef that was raised on land that my family owns, and I thought that tasted like fish. It tasted
Mhm.
kind of awful. It tasted like omega-3. I don't know how else to describe it.
Mhm.
Maybe the ratios were off in those cows. I mean, it was edible, like there's nothing wrong with it, but it just tasted really strong. I don't know what the grass is, but yeah, that's mainly the difference is the kind of grasses, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had talked about that. Your family members on the farm there, they had noticed this is something they'd noticed a while ago. It seems like Their cows on their farm tasted different, distinct, shall we say?
Yeah, distinct.
Yeah, right.
Most
Wow.
definitely.
I think
But I
we
don't know if it was pig, maybe it would have come out kind of nice and almondy tasting or something. Mm.
never know because, of course, pigs eat a lot more than just grass. They don't even eat that much grass, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Our eggs were really good though. The eggs that I was getting from there were really good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the chicken I do have an update on the chickens. The chickens have all been deceased. They were eaten by I think a raccoon
No.
eventually got to them. My
Damn
my
raccoons.
my aunt bought a all new coop for them that she
Wow.
thought was like Fort Knox that like nothing could get into.
Mhm.
But no, the raccoon got in. The raccoon just couldn't get out.
Little did you know the raccoons were plotting an Ocean's 37 style break in.
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, good for them. Raccoons. I think you need to get some of those Brahma chickens and the was it Goliath Rex? The big ass chickens. So you can stomp those raccoons in a fair fight. Or not so fair fight.
Not so far gone.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
right.
damn raccoons. Crafty bastards.
Definitely. Like another rabbit hole, since I do have a kid, is the um formula rabbit hole.
Hmm.
Obviously, breastfeeding is best, and like all the clinical research.
Yeah.
But like, and I guess it's like federal law or something that baby formulas have to have like certain plant oils in them,
Hmm.
like cottonseed. Um, and I find like really strange, and it's really hard to figure out why. And they say, well, has these nutrients and that nutrient, but it's like, well, has anyone ever tested babies, versus cow milk versus
Have
breast
they
milk?
ever tested a natural baby and see what its cottonseed oil content is?
Right, right, yeah. Um, and so, I mean, my wife is mostly breastfeeding, but I was just like, I can't in good conscience, like, even if it's organic, like a lot of these plant based, I mean, even if they have a lactose milk base,
Hmm.
still like it's a list of like 12 plant oils that are in it,
Wow.
and I'm just like, how I just can't in good conscience feed this to my child. I don't know what else to do, but I'm not doing that.
Hmm.
So I mean, when he first came home, we were supplementing with just regular pasteurized powdered goat milk,
Hmm.
and I was throwing in some heavy cream,
Hmm.
which is a tip I
Fatten it
got.
up.
Yeah, which is a tip that I got from Dr. Cyrus.
Mm.
Was to throw in like because with his baby, he does this other formula,
Should we look that up? Is I always thought his name was Silas. Everybody says
Cyrus.
Cyrus.
So I think it is Cyrus. I mean, he's South African, so I mean, Elon Musk, Dr. Cyrus, maybe I don't know something there. Um, but he feeds this one, which I mean, I understand why he feeds it to his child, but it still has a lot of plant oils in it, and I'm like, why? Like why? How is this good in digesting? And you constantly hear it about modern babies having colic, right? Or like spitting up a lot and crying and being fussy. So we've been doing just like the goat milk powder with the heavy cream. I was getting worried about his omega, DHA, some other like vitamin K, things like that, some other
Hmm.
soluble vitamins when
Hmm.
he's not getting the breast milk. And so now I'm doing um when he's not breastfeeding, when we're supplement. the goat milk powder with the heavy cream with a cod liver oil that I found that's really, really good. I even tasted it. It tastes like fresh fish. Like it really does. And it's
Hmm.
like in a liquid form.
Hmm.
Um, a little bit of desiccated liver powder
Hmm.
in it, which has vitamin B12 and some other vitamins.
Hmm.
And then butter oil, which has vitamin K and vitamin D, I believe.
Hmm.
So I kind of make that up now, and he's been doing great with that. That's partially taken from the Weston A. Price Foundation,
Hmm.
who came up with a formula, but there still has like some sunflower oil and this and that and the other, and some kind of gut bacterias added to it too.
Hmm.
My only gripe, and maybe I just haven't looked into it hard enough, but I'm always like, well, why? Why the sunflower oil? What good is that doing? Maybe it's for digestion purposes. I don't know. But the whole formula world, and the trying to feed the child right is a maze, and it shouldn't be this difficult. And again, the simple answer is breast milk, but humans must have been struggling with breast milk issues the entire time, right? I mean, nursing issues and things like that. And maybe that child just didn't get fed, or maybe that child just expired. I don't know. It was a cruel, cruel world.
Well, it's my
Um,
understanding that a lot of in a lot of more sort of natural settings that babies are often just given fat to suck on, like in sub-Saharan Africa, like it's common to give babies like zebra fat and stuff like that to suck on.
oh, I mean, I'm sure like in as a supplement to breastfeeding. I haven't
Mm.
heard that, so
Yeah,
so huh, that's
go ahead.
interesting.
So I mean, how much colic has your baby had? How much spitting up are we seeing?
Not especially since with the new, he really
Mm.
hasn't. I mean, he was there some a little bit, but I mean, he gets like gassy and you got to burp him from the bottle. But as far as colic, I can't really think of him having colic at all, really. Um, from what we've been doing. He sleeps pretty good, and I mean, when he does get fussy, but it's either, the typical things. Either he wants his diaper changed, he wants food, or
Mhm.
he wants to be picked up,
Mm.
which is all very typical, but it's not like crying to where you've tried those things and he doesn't settle down, you
That's
know.
nice.
So yeah, so and I don't know, to me, I think it's because the way we've been feeding him and him not having digestive upset, you know. My
Yeah.
guess, I don't know, but I'm gonna, his last check was a couple weeks ago, and he was born 6 pounds 11 ounces, and he's now 9 pounds 6 ounces. So he's a growing, no problem about that. And you're seeing more eye movement and stuff like that, and we've
Well,
taken him out.
he must be almost your size by now.
We've taken him out several times, and I mean, he sneezes from time to time, but it's not like he has like a chronically runny nose that you see a lot of little babies have.
Hmm.
Like we haven't even had to do the like sucker thing,
Hmm.
which is usually pretty common. And so it's really making me think that me stopping seed oils from going into him, I think he's just not having those problems. And it's just hard for me to see the now from what I know, for me to see the overall benefit to giving him an extra gut bacteria. Like why? Why would that be missing?
Well, go on
Like,
out on a limb for me and speculate how much cottonseed oil humans and pre-humans were consuming as we evolved.
Well, none. I mean, yeah, none.
It's kind of a bold statement, but right. I mean, okay, not to put you on the spot, but how much sunflower seed oil do you think we were consuming?
None.
All right. Fair enough. What about corn oil?
None.
Avocado oil?
None.
Olive oil?
None.
Like I thought I turned the freaking notification. Could you hear my phone?
No,
Uh,
couldn't.
I thought I turned all the volumes off and I didn't somehow. So sorry about that. So all right, yeah. So I've said this a bunch of times, I think, in videos, but I was with some family members, this is a few years back, but they had a baby and the mom was saying, "Oh yeah, we feed the baby formula because it's got all the vitamins it's supposed to in it, and it was just a regular everyday sort of plant-based baby formula." And I was like, don't they know? I mean, haven't they ever read any of the articles, much less any of the studies that show that, babies that get primarily baby formula don't do so well, you know? And not to forget all the biological exchange between a mom and an infant, enzymes and all kinds of things. So, I mean, that being said, they said the doctor told them the one thing: just don't give the baby any honey. I looked down at the baby sitting on the floor, and the baby was licking the bottom of somebody's shoe. I'm like, I don't know if honey is going to be that big of an issue. I think the licking people's shoes might be a bigger one. So,
Well,
anyways,
it's terrifying. You know, you go to the store and they have soy. I mean, it's the cheap stuff. I mean, I get it. Baby's got to eat something, and
yeah.
you're a welfare child or something like that. I no hate, you know, I'm not trying to disparage anyone, nothing like that. But I cry for the parent that has to or doesn't know better that has to feed their child a soy-based formula. You
Hmm.
know, is a soy protein or soy based or something. It's just
Yeah,
like,
we've been duped in all this, a belief that if it says natural on the package, it's better for you. If it's
or
organic,
plant based, it's not, you know, it's better
if
too.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like those are the catchwords that make people feel better about what they're doing. But and it's kind of more for the people who could be breastfeeding, but are like, oh, formula is just as good and it's easier for everybody. And if they knew that it wasn't as good and that the formula buy at the store isn't as good as what you could get if you did your homework, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, I'm putting effort into this and the recipe exists. I had to hunt it down, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
People could
but
make better choices if they had better information, is all I'm saying.
and there's like breast milk exchanges, like where women, I mean,
Hmm.
where you can, I don't know if you buy it or what the legality of it is, of like,
Hmm.
you know, because that was another thing was the, you know, other women in the tribe would um that would also have kids around the same time or you know still breastfeeding, they would just breastfeed someone else's kid in the
Hmm.
tribe, you know.
Yeah.
That was, you know, another thing that was common.
Hmm. Yep. Well, and that's what a wet nurse is, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when it's not a communal thing, they used to hire. I imagine some places they still do hire a wet nurse, right?
Right.
Hmm.
And you know, there are breast pumps, and I think breast pumps, you
Sure.
know, pumping's a great thing.
Hmm.
Um
Especially when it's like you gotta leave the child with somebody, go do
uh,
something, whatever it is. You can pump and put it in the fridge or whatever, and the baby can have it later.
and I didn't know this, so it just so happened that at my work there was also a woman, a couple of ladies actually, that also had like a 2 month old or a 3 month old that were breastfeeding as well. And I didn't know that they can actually feel, and my wife can feel it too, like when their breasts have milk and
Mm,
like where it's like too much. And so like one of my coworkers was like, I'm sorry, I have to go pump. My breasts are about to explode.
mhm.
And like I almost lost it. I was like, that's, it's just something you never, I never thought of. I never
Really?
thought that like it's just the body just naturally just keeps producing the milk, and
Hmm.
it's gotta
Yeah,
it
and some
doesn't it
people,
doesn't know you're at work. You
some
know what I
girls
mean?
more than others,
Right.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Yeah. So what I mean, have you tasted the formula?
The formula,
Yeah,
like the one I make.
yeah,
No, my wife has. My wife tastes that one. My wife keeps trying to give me hers, and I'm like, it's not my thing. I don't
really.
know. Yeah.
I think you need to do a taste comparison and let us know.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I've had breast milk once as an adult.
Uh-huh.
It was a surprise, but it was actually quite nice.
Oh, okay. All right.
Better than anything I ever bought from the store for sure.
Huh. All right then. I don't know. I've just never been. I don't know. I just
I'm
didn't.
not a milk guy, so but it was quite nice.
Mm.
Surprising.
Maybe if it's chilled, maybe it'll be more normalized for me.
Mm, I had it fresh from the source and it was great. So
Okay.
just saying.
All right. Yeah. I mean, when else am I gonna get the chance, I guess. So when
Yeah,
in Rome,
if you don't do it now, you're gonna regret it later for sure.
yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So and definitely try the formula. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the goat milk, I mean, it probably just tastes like heavy cream butter and a little fishy. That's probably all it tastes like. So mostly
mhm.
probably just tastes like goat milk.
Got a damn
Um,
mosquito in here.
but that's also why I was jumping down this whole omega-3 thing. It's like, well, how the hell do I know if my child needs more omega-3? How the hell do I know if this is necessary? He's doing really well. Like, it's just
Hmm.
like, what's necessary, what's not. And I just don't trust modern nutrition advice just because of
Right.
everything I've been through and everything like I've found out, you know.
Hmm. Right. Well, that's very interesting. Glad to hear the baby's doing well.
Oh yeah, doing very, very well, he does really, really good. Like I said, really not a whole lot of like screaming all night or anything like that. Like he cries, but it's for a reason, and it's
Hmm.
he needs burp, he needs change. He's he's tired, but he'll just go sleep.
Nice.
And my wife is co-sleeping the baby. So my wife and the baby, don't tell CPS, but my wife and the baby have been sleeping together in a bed from
Mm-hmm.
day one, really. The doctors go up and down about, because I mean I get it. There are cases where unfortunately people roll over and they crush their baby and they die. That does happen. But I mean, I don't know. My wife's not 300 pounds, like she's pretty aware. I mean, I don't know.
Is she still smaller than the baby?
Just a little bit, yeah. And people co-slept with their kids. Again, it's just go back to basics.
Hmm.
All the way back. There wasn't a bad. Where would you put the child, especially to keep it warm?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Yep, I hear you, man. I'm gonna go out to do what you think is best.
yeah. And no problems. And my wife's aware. Like I don't know. It's just the whole medicalization of childbirth and everything was just, and the hospital, like the hospital food was the worst.
Hmm.
I mean, the trays, literally every tray of something came with packets of sugar with it. And I was like, why does the mashed potatoes need packets of sugar? Are people just running around putting sugar on all their food now?
Do you
Is
think
that
some
where we're
people
going?
put sugar on mashed potatoes? I
I'm
bet some people.
sure.
I've never even thought of that. I've never seen anybody do it, but surely somebody out there does it, right?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure someone is throwing some sugar powder on the mashed potatoes.
Hmm.
I used to put honey on baked potatoes at Soup Plantation.
Well, you're eating at Soup Plantation, so you obviously weren't at your best.
Right, right, yeah. That
Yeah.
probably,
Well,
thinking talk about an entire buffet of marketed on eating healthy is probably, I mean, not the absolute worst, obviously, but I mean, their blueberry muffins were to die for, though.
yeah, my buddy at work, Jennifer, was lamenting the demise of Soup Plantation, and she was very disappointed she didn't get a rise out of me. And I'm like, really? That's the one you miss? Soup Plantation? Because I'm pretty sure I'm happy nobody's ever gonna say, we're going to Soup Plantation, you gotta come with us.
That would probably be, I mean, one of the only places that I think would be nigh impossible to eat at would be Soup Plantation.
I
Like there
think they
was
had some stuff
really
at the salad bar you could eat, like
some tuna and
cottage cheese, chopped ham. There was a little bit of stuff like that. There's a few things that had some meat in them, and there was some stuff at the salad bar, and that was it.
I think that they had a pizza, the pizza bread, but the one of them had pepperoni
I don't
on it, I
remember.
think.
I don't know if I even ever saw pizza bread.
Well, it was like their pizza, but it was like it was little bread slice things of
Huh.
pizza, like a pizza bread pizza. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to one in probably 10 years. So I don't remember exactly
Well,
ever.
they haven't been around for five, so you know.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's not like that restaurant's not going to get replaced with another one.
See, we need to open meat plantation then, where it's like
Meat plantation. There you go.
meat plantation.
Although I don't know, in this climate, you probably don't want anything with plantation in the title.
I was surprised they got away with it then.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of strange combining soup with plantation. I'd love to see them arguing that in the marketing pitch. So we're thinking the new restaurant should be called Soup Plantation. Yeah. That I can't imagine that going over.
And their clam chowder was bomb too, though. I remember I'd have like 3 bowls of clam chowder every time I'd go. I
Yeah,
must,
I mean, I love clam chowder too. Of course, yeah, I made it myself, so it didn't because normally it's got like a ton of starch in it
yeah,
and potatoes and stuff like that. That's a New England style. The Manhattan
right.
style, you can, you could try and dock that up to be more carnivore, but pretty much it becomes bouillabaisse or cioppino or something, So
Right.
you might as well just eat that.
Yeah. I mean, with Soup Plantation, geez, I probably ate there once a week at least for like a year. I'd been there a
Wow.
ridiculous amount of times.
Hmm.
And I'd have like the biggest salad. Like people would, my wife doesn't believe me. I used to eat salad. And I used to eat like king salads with like everything in it. Eat the rainbow, like 100%. Like I was in it. That's why when I argue with these vegans, it's just like I did it. I lived it. I had the big salad and it got me nowhere, just kind of more ill and in
Well, let me
pain.
put you on the spot one more time. Was there anything at that salad bar at Soup Plantation, or let's just say the whole menu, that was a food we evolved on?
Maybe the clams and the clam chowder, if it actually had clams in it.
Good point. Good point. That's probably true.
But other than
Anything
that,
else?
probably not.
Hmm. I'm inclined to agree with you. Yeah, and I'll just throw it out there because you do get new viewers, but I I make the point to people that if you go to the produce section in any store, any market, there is nothing on the shelf that came from nature there. Every fruit and vegetable, every grain, every legume has been drastically modified. And then, in nature, they're rare, they're regional, they're subject to, disease and other animals wanting to eat them. So our chances of coming in contact with a distant relative of what you see in the produce section was relatively rare. So I asked people, what was it we ate? You know, was the world full of starchy tubers? We just dug them up everywhere? No. Was it full of leafy greens that we could eat? No. Was it just full of sweet, juicy fruit? No, it wasn't.
But come on, Tom, fruits want them to eat us. The want them to eat us. Fruits
True.
want them for us to eat them.
And there were berries and grapes and fruit on trees and stuff, but it's seasonal, it's regional, and it was a very, very small part of our diet.
And probably not nearly as sweet as they are now.
Right. Very much so. All right, man. Well, we've been at it for a while, so I hate to do it, but we should probably wrap her up.
There you go. It's been a fun episode, though.
Real quick, let's do your have you had any signs of black leg?
Black lung? No, the
Black
black.
leg.
Oh, no, the black. No, my leg is fine. Yeah, no
Have
black
your
leg.
teeth been falling out of your gums?
No, they're as white as ever.
Yeah. So no signs of vitamin C deficiency.
No signs of vitamin C deficiency.
Have you been plagued with diarrhea or constipation?
No, can't say that I have.
Hmm. How's the heartburn?
Uh, fine. Yeah.
I
No
hope
heartburn.
no
Not having to
heartburn.
take my omeprazole.
All right. Any sign that the blood gooses are high?
No sign that the blood gooses are high. No.
Just checking,
Mhm.
because we're all supposed to have scurvy,
And oh my goodness,
be
man,
constipated, or to have
working at a mental hospital, seeing all the people on omeprazole, like I see it like every 8 out of 10 cases I look
wow.
at, like people yeah, just it's crazy how much of that goes around. Gabapentin, omeprazole, I swear, got to be two of
Is
the
it
most.
omeprazole or omeprazole?
Omeprazole, I think that's it.
That's what PPI, right?
Yeah, PPI. Yeah.
Proton pump inhibitor for GERD slash acid reflux slash heartburn slash what else do we call it? I love when people are like,
Irritable bowel.
I love it when people are like arguing about which is heartburn and which is GERD and which is indigestion and which is I'm like, really? It doesn't matter. They all suck and they're all pretty much the same thing.
Right.
All right, buddy. Well, I gotta wrap this up. I
All
thank
right.
everybody for watching. Please promote the video and leave us your comments. Let us know. Sorry it's been so long since put a video out. So just wound up unexpectedly taking some time off, but I appreciate everybody that's watching. And yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what your input is, and send your vegan hate mail to over to Justin. So
Any kind of hate mail, whatever.
yeah, it doesn't have to be vegan hate mail. Any hate mail's good. So, anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Whatever you do, eat some meat, feel
Feel
better,
better.
and don't fall down the
All
carb
down the
hole.
carb hole,
Carb hole.
hole, hole.